Think that's a good location for the village. I will set up a portal here. Here is the new portal and there is my home portal. The first step is to remove some trees. I finished to remove a lot of trees and now that location are look perfectly for a village. I start to gather some jungle tree and I start to work on that part. I finished to make that part of the village which are look like very good in that contrast with jungle wood and mangrove and spruce. Now the next thing is to make some roads. Where is the red wool? After I work on some roads, now I need to make a little bridge right there. And that is a little beautiful bridge which I made in contrast with jungle wood and mangrove. I gather some skulk and I will start to make some road with that. Because I need mud brick for the constructions, I go to collect some mud, but a little bit farther from the village. And I start to collect mud block. I have a lot of mud, but unfortunately I have a bad news. To gather packed mud, we need a lot of wheat. And unfortunately, my wheat farm is so small. So I need to set up a giant wheat farm right there. I make that giant farming land and now I need to fill up that with wheat. Firstly, I need to grow up that wheat with some bone meal. I have a lot of bone. That was quick and I replanted. And I start to collect my old wheat. I fill up that shulker box and my entire inventory with wheat and now I will go to make some packed mud. I make that two little house with that little roof and now I will try to make some other house with a bigger roof. I gather a lot of mud, I make some packed mud, I start to collect some mangrove wood, I gather 5 stack and I hope that will be enough for a long time. Because I want to make some houses here, I need to move the portal and my old chests. I finished to move my portal and my old chest right there. Now I start to work on the houses. Two more little house. Now is the time to work on some bigger house here behind that small houses. And I finished to make one of the biggest house in the village. Next thing is to make another one right there. I go again to gather some mud. I gather a lot of mud and mangrove wood. And now I hope that I can finish the village with that materials. After I work on the giant house, I remind again without pack mud, so I need to return home and I start to farming wheat. I return to the mangrove village and I start to make some packed mud. I gather some and I continue to work on the village. After some times, I finish to make the biggest structure from that city. I make some a little bit wide road here to some future project. The next thing which I want to make is to work a little bit on the vegetation of that village. I plant the first tree, which is a little one, some more big tree right there. I return in my mangrove village and I have a very good idea, which is to transport some villager here. But I think it's a better idea to make a villager breeder here behind the trees because here is a swamp. And if the villager are bred here, we will get a special villager, which is a swamp villager and that's a little bit special than the normal villager. So I will make a breeder. I start by chopping down some tree. For the beginning I make the collection system. I finish the platform where we stay the villagers. I prepare the farming place. I place some composter and beds. And now I need to move some villagers. I arrive with the first villager and with the second one. I place the trapdoors, I plant some potatoes, I give a stack of potato to each villager, and the breeder are start to work. Now I need to figure out a way to transport the villagers to the village. And here is the first little villager which are have a special texture. I finished to figure out the tunnels where the small villagers are go to the village. And that will be the location from where are will appear the villagers. Now I need to surround the entire village with a wall. I think the best idea is to make a wall from mangrove roots. I finished to surround the entire village with that wall. Now the next thing is to light the whole area where the zombie can spawn. I light the entire area with some torches. I broke that 2 dirt block and now the villagers are free to go to my village. And that villagers have that beautiful texture. The night is here and my villagers are go to sleep. That's not a perfect interior, but it's okay for that moment. And here I make some other place to sleep. That's look like a little bit weird, but I work. I start to farm some potatoes and I grow up that with some bone meal. And we have another baby. Now I return to my villagers and I give to that more potatoes. That's a little bit weird. I spent some time in that village and now that is full of villagers. Because in so many villagers are start to appear some iron golem. I have around 5 iron golem in that village, but many of that is in the forest which is around the village. I have 17 villagers and now I have a good idea, which is to catch some frog and place that here in the village. I need some lead to fix the frog to the fence. I gather some slime and string and now I craft some. I arrive back in the village and now I go to search for some frogs. After some minutes I found the first frogs. And another one right there. 4, 5, 6. That's so much frogs. 7, 8, 9. I arrive with that frogs in the village and that I have a fun animation on that wood, which I look like the frog are run to me. I multiply the all frogs, which are go under the village, but it's okay. And here is the first tadpoles, and some more in that part. I collect my old sugarcane and some compass, because I want to make a map of the village. Perfect location for that map is here, so I start to build that. And here is the first tadpoles, which are look very interesting in survival. I return home because I realized that I need some item frames, so I start to search for that and I found the first one. I multiply my cows because I need some leather, and I start to work on the maps. Here is the map of the village. I look very interesting from the top. One of my goals on that series is to make a netherite beacon, so the part of that episode when I work on that is here. So the first step is to fill up the shulker boxes with sand. And I finish to fill up the old shulker boxes with sand. I start to make a lot of TNTs. I fill up almost 3 shulker boxes of TNT. I arrive down to my giant mine. After a lot of time I place a lot of TNTs and now I will start to mine more ancient debris. And here is the first 2 pieces of ancient debris. And another one, 4 pieces of ancient debris from the beginning, that's very good. I gather the first stack, another stack. I'm mindful a lot of time, I gather a lot of ancient debris, but unfortunately I remain without any food. I gather some food, I took some TNTs and I continue to mine more ancient debris. Returning to the overworld because I need some food, I buy some from that villagers and now I have a lot of golden carrot. Back to mining. I use my old TNTs and I gather almost 10 stack of ancient debris. That's so much, and that represent around 10% of the netherite beacon. So we make some serious progression. I arrive back to my base to check how many ancient debris I have, and finally I complete a shulker box of ancient debris and a stack and 2 pieces in another one. For that moment I complete 28% of the netherite beacon, that's very good. That's the mine where I use a lot of TNTs and I gather a shulker box of ancient debris. I just kidding, that's the real mine, which is literally enormous. 1600 block longer and around 600 wide. That's the enormous mine where I get a shulker box of ancient debris.